I hated Brazil. I'm a black woman and I hated my time in Brazil because the colorism and the texturism were the worst I have experienced anywhere in my entire life. I feel like this is really pertinent for me to say right now in this conversation that we're having again about black women wearing wigs, weaves, or their natural hair and makeup, etc. because literally it's not just black women wear these things because we hate ourselves or because we deep down don't like it. I love my natural hair. Always have. I've actually been natural my entire life. Even when I was a straight hair natural, I love my hair. When I was a curly natural, I love my hair. I love my locks. Love it all. Right now, I have a shortcut. I love it. I love the way I look with natural hair. But the rest of you don't. And the way that people treated me in Brazil, the stark difference between when I had my natural hair and when I went to go and get a wig was so intense that I actually have decided I will never go back to Brazil. So this is the story. I went to the airport. I was in Sao Paulo airport, which GRU is actually literally a hellscape. But I was there. It was a layover on my way to Colombia. I was going back to Colombia to get my braces serviced. However, I never made it to Colombia because of how extraordinarily racist, colorist, xenophobic, rude, and just all around colors, just everything. Like the level of racial prejudice I experienced in GRU airport because of my natural hair was so immense that I spent 4 hours walking around that airport asking people in Portuguese to help me find an exit. I literally at one point actually broke down and sobbed in the airport because people kept walking over me, walking around me, through me, while I'm trying to speak to them and ask them to help me even exit the airport. So basically, I got my yellow fever vaccine in Brazil, but they did not give me the correct vaccination card. As such, I could not board the plane to go to Colombia, or so I thought. However, when I got there, mind you, I'm running through the airport. People are giving me the most dirtiest looks. And at that time, I was natural. I had a short natural haircut. I had sponged it out. I thought it was very cute. And I was wearing a nice red, classy dress. And literally so many people gave me the dirtiest looks ever. It was actually the worst experience of racism I've ever had in my entire life. When I finally get to the gate, I'm asking the woman like, hey, here's my ticket, here's my stuff, etc. Here's my vaccine card. She's like, no, you can't get on the plane, basically. And she won't explain why. I ask her why. She said, this isn't the right card. I say, okay, where can I get the right card? She lies intentionally and sends me to the wrong place to get these cards and says, yeah, we're also not going to cover your flight expense because it's your fault, basically. I was like, well, let me talk to a manager or something. The manager is trying to ignore me. Like, when I tell you, everyone in that airport ignored me for hours. Even when I finally was like, okay, fine, I'll leave. I'll go try and get this card or whatever. Because I'm on the other side of the airport, the exit for people who are departing is on the other side of the airport. I don't know that. I don't know this airport. It's my first time here. And no one would help me. Like, nobody would. I asked so many people, like, hey, could you help me find the help me find the exit? I asked people that work there. I asked airport employees, and they were all just like, no, it's like over there or something. I don't know. For hours, you guys, for literal hours. The second time I came back to GRU, at this point I had gotten a different vaccination card and whatever. And they once again almost tried to not let me get on my plane to South Africa. But I honestly believe that they let me go because I better fit the standard of beauty with a wig on my head, with straight hair. And while I was grateful and happy to be able to get on my flight to South Africa to leave, to get out of Brazil, the idea that literally, I mean, instantly, as soon as I put this wig on my head, I started getting so many compliments from people like, oh, you're so beautiful. You're so pretty. It is not that black women don't love ourselves. It is not that we don't think we're beautiful natural. You all don't. The rest of you do not see our beauty until we put on the hair of white women. And that's the truth. That's the facts. And you treat us terribly if we do not conform. Awfully. And yeah, so that was my experience in Brazil. And I had that experience numerous times. Even when I had like braids versus not having braids in Brazil, I noticed it once again. Like, Brazil do not like type 4 hair at all. And I know there's another dark-skinned black girl on here who's had lovely experiences. And I know so many people love Brazil because there's so many black people. But I did not have a good experience. And I went to Rio, I went to Salvador, and I went to Sao Paulo. And in none of those places was my natural hair at all appreciated. And I received so much colorism and so much texturism wearing my natural hair in Brazil that it honestly has partially scarred me. And I will just never go back. So